You're about to hear the end of a conversation that Anthony and I have had. Are you ever curious about what we're talking about? Well, you can hear all of those conversations because those conversations in full are delivered to our patrons.
Yep, you head to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns. You get all that bonus audio. You can also get early episodes and hangouts and secret mail. Patreon.com/wehaveconcerns to find out how. Damn, just recounting my day yesterday, I'm like, I want to fuck this guy. This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Cannata.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens. Remember, we do mark our episodes explicit, so I don't want to hear about the F-bomb in our cold open, everyone.
Patrick Colden sent us a story.
Thanks, Patrick. How did he send that to us?
He sent it, I believe he sent it via the email at wehaveconcernshow@gmail.com.
Great way to send a story.
He had several options, though, Anthony.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He could have posted it on our subreddit, wehaveconcerns.reddit.com.
Nope. Yep.
Don't nope me when it's a yep.
Yep.
He could.
I'm just so used to you getting these wrong.
He could have gone to our Facebook group, which is We Have Concerns. No.
Nope.
That's where the nope.
Sorry, I threw you off this time.
Early on the nope.
I was early on the nope.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Facebook.com/group/We Have Concern.
Perfect. Don't send us stories on Twitter.
No, it's a waste of your time.
I mean, you can.
It's a waste of your time.
Maybe sometimes we'll click on them, but we don't organize those.
We don't remember that.
Yeah.
And when it comes time to do the show, we go, hey, I remember that story on Twitter. It's like,
nope.
How can we find it? We'll never be able to find it.
I usually, if any question starts with, do you remember? I just go, nope.
He's good at noping. Noping is like your new thing.
Noping? Oh, man. I always like to no-butt people. That's the best way to do things. Like when you're trying to collaborate or do something creative, the best thing you can do is look your collaborators in the eyes and go, nope. Or no butt.
You don't have to tell me. I've almost 500 episodes.
Almost 500.
Of no butting. This is a story about dead pigs.
Sure.
Because...
You know what? Nope.
Moving on. Not just a few dead pigs, Anthony. 6,000 pounds of dead pigs.
How many pigs is that, though? What's the average weight of a pig?
These are stats I did not look up.
What is the average weight of a pig?
Yeah, I'm sure that's a lot of pigs.
Yeah, I'm sure it's at least 5 pigs.
This is a National Geographic story about a group at Texas A&M entomologists who were interested in studying cataclysmic events that result in ecological chaos. Very, very up-and-coming field.
Yeah.
All the young kids are getting into it. Oh,
dude, ecological chaos is like the new computer science.
Yeah.
Kids, get out of computer science because when the shit goes down...
The shit's going down.
The computers will be worthless.
Exactly. The shit is happening. So get into ecological chaos. That's where all the money is.
Jeff, just so you know, a large black pig...
Has it got to be black?
This is just the way they're organized. I don't know. I don't do pig organization.
Okay.
I think it's a type of pig is the large black. The large black pig is 710 to 790 pounds.
All right.
The Bentheim black pied pig is 550 pounds. And the Angolan saddleback is 770 pounds. And a majestic pig. So we're talking about 6,000 pounds of pigs, 2,000 pounds to a ton. Which is not relevant here.
That is 3 tons of pigs.
It is 3 tons of pigs. And it's about 12 to 15 pigs.
Yeah. Good math.
Yeah.
So these guys wanted to study an ecological cataclysm. They wanted to study what happens when shit goes real bad.
You must sacrifice 12 to 15 pigs to know.
Well, that's the problem.
To the pig god.
That's the problem is they wanted to study when these things like there are these recorded times when 300 dead whales washed up on a remote fjord in Chile. There was that thing we talked about on the show. Remember the lightning bolt that killed all of the reindeer in Norway? 300 reindeer that died in one lightning bolt because Santa was mad. And they wanted to study what happens when that shit goes down. What happens to the environment? What causes it? What is the process of reclaiming, and what does it do to the
the fundamental balance of things?
But here's the problem: it's really hard to predict when one of those is going to happen. Even harder to pull one off without people getting a little ticked.
Yeah.
Because,
Because you can't, it's hard to make a case for, we want to know what happens when you really fuck up an ecosystem.
Yeah.
So we got to just come in here real quick and fuck up your ecosystem.
We got to just lay waste to hundreds and hundreds of animals.
Here's what's up. We're coming in and we're going to kill all of one animal in your town.
Yeah.
You get to pick.
Which animal do you dislike
Which
the
animal
most?
do you want to... Well, we kind of like all our animals here.
Is there a hierarchy of how much you like them? Like, we know you like all of them, but is there one that...
Oh, I couldn't
like
possibly. No, I mean, we need them and we love them. And
okay, but I'm going to kill all of one animal. So you get to... It's sort of your Sophie's choice.
You can't do that. Dude.
What?
Have them do the pigs. The pigs are assholes. No, I guess the pigs.
Okay, we're gonna kill all the pigs then. Thanks.
I feel awful. But don't feel awful though, dude, because those pigs are dicks.
Daddy, I just came in from the yard with a couple of apples to feed to the pigs. I'm so happy, Daddy. I love you so much.
This is the worst day I have had this week.
Daddy, where are the pigs? Daddy, the pig?
Not the worst day I've ever had.
Are they all sleeping?
Last week was pretty bad.
So they
made me choose a member of my family last week.
Daddy, where's my brother?
You just keep asking questions, honey, and what have I told you?
Daddy?
If you ask questions, they come for you next.
Oh, I love you, Daddy. So what they did was they put the word out, and it turns out that there was a problem with a bunch of pigs that they were combating a wildlife pest.
I heard you got a pig problem? I'm happy to solve that for you. You need these pigs gone. We could maybe make them stop bothering you is all I'm saying.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If there's anything I can do in return.
Well, we'll get to that for sure. We'll definitely get to that for sure.
Foreboding.
But we want you to know we want this community to not have any problems with pigs anymore, and maybe we need a little something just for our efforts.
Just so we're clear, we've defined terms. I'm not talking about police officers. I'm talking about actual barnyard pigs. Okay.
Absolutely.
You seem a little
like 3 pigs in a raincoat, because I'm not.
Yeah, you seem a little bit like that.
Okay, but I'm saying if pigs are attacking, I'm from a group that maybe could help those pigs stop attacking.
Okay.
That's all.
All right.
And I'm not saying I'm connected to these pigs in any way, specifically not like feet to shoulders, but we could, if you've got problems with some sort of pigs.
There was a wolf in here earlier who had a competitive offer. I'm just saying.
Whoa. Let's not get out of hand here. Let's not start bringing wolves in. You got pig problems. You start bringing wolves in. What happens next? We get cops in here.
I thought we were clear. We're not talking about the cops. No cops. So they found a bunch of pigs that were being killed off by a plague in Mississippi,
and they were like, "Yeah."
They were so happy.
Did it.
They were so happy about the pigs.
Oh, are you guys here to cure my pigs? No.
No.
We simply observe. You ever read Marvel Comics? We're like the Watcher.
Yeah. Except that we take the pig and we use it for nefarious purposes. No, to be clear, these are feral pigs. These are not like barnyard pigs. These are feral pigs that were running in the wild in Mississippi that were dying off. And so they just picked up all the carcasses and had them delivered. And then, so they have like thousands of pounds of dead pig carcasses. And then one day, word gets out, and they get a call out of the blue because they got 4,000 pounds of dead pigs. And they get a call, and these are in storage because they don't know what to do with them yet.
Sure.
They get a call from a guy who's like, "I got 2,000 pounds of dead pig. I need to get rid of it." And they're like, "What?"
And I need you to not ask any questions.
Yeah. He's like, the exact quote from the scientist is, "I never thought I'd be so excited about a phone call saying I have a literal ton of dead pigs for you."
Wow.
But they got another 2,000 pounds of dead pigs. Now they've got 6,000 pounds, 3 tons of dead pigs in storage.
Who's this guy?
Who is that guy? They don't talk about this guy.
They should be talking more about that guy.
The guy who gets your number, calls you up, and offers you a ton of dead pigs.
That's like calling up a blood bank and being just like, yo, I have got a ton of blood here.
No questions asked. We'll
just
take
like
it.
So much blood.
I'll take it.
A cooler is full of blood.
Yeah, we love that. We need that here. That's what we take. So we're not gonna ask you. We're not gonna follow up in any way about that.
I love that these guys are they're not like in any way. They're not like, we should ask this guy where these pigs came from.
Yeah, this fucking pig genocide. This guy's all into. Anyway, so they got 6,000 pounds of pigs, 3 tons of dead pigs. They don't know.
You could have 2,000 luau's.
That is a lot of luau's. That is a partay. So it turns out that they get a call from their university head who says, "Hey, we have some reclaimed forest land that is the property of the university. We don't know what to do with it. We need maybe you guys have some experiments you can run there." It's just this weird confluence of events, and they go, perfect. We're going to deposit 6,000 pounds of dead pig there.
This sounds more and more like a fucking alibi for something as time goes on. Yeah. There's something going on here. It's like, oh no. Because here are the questions that are in my head at this point, Jeff. So they want to study the effect of a plague or a disaster on a specific ecosystem.
Yeah.
So if all these pigs are dying in one ecosystem, wouldn't they have to
go to that ecosystem? That's the commute, though.
Dropping a bunch of dead pigs in an ecosystem that did not previously have all these pigs.
That's the study.
It doesn't affect the ecosystem in any way because you're not removing pigs from the ecosystem.
Well, we haven't gotten to that point yet. Wait until we get to that point.
I don't know. These guys are up to something.
He said, the Mississippi State Associate Director of Research said the request was a little unusual, but the university gave it a green light to use the university-owned forest land for this research. So they deposited 6,000 pounds of pig carcasses and set up cameras and sensors all over this area to figure out what was going to go
See if any of them moved.
And then they left to see if any of them moved. One little twitchy, I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
At that point, how do you find the one? He's under there somewhere. It's like mounds and mounds of pig.
That's like a World War II movie where the guy's like just hiding.
Oh, man.
There's just like one pig in there who's like, dude, this is fucked. I'm just going to stay perfectly still.
They'll never know. So the first thing that happens, the camera traps immediately record dozens and dozens of vultures descend on the piles of pigs.
Yeah, no shit.
It's vulture bait, right?
Oh, it's so weird. We threw a bunch of food in the woods and a bunch of animals came and ate the food.
Yeah.
This
is a study.
This is not a study. This is a lie. They're covering something up.
And then they had sticky traps to collect insects
It's real weird. Insects like dead flesh.
Well, but they're going to record what kinds of insects and how that changes over time and analyze the kind of insects, how they break down the carcasses. But there are so many insects that descended so quickly. They had to change the sticky traps daily because there's not a single space for more bugs in the sticky trap. It is so infested with bugs.
No shit.
Yeah. And
what is this study?
He said there were writhing maggot swarms on the carcasses several inches deep.
So weird that a big pile of carcasses would attract like a big pile of maggots.
Well, listen to this sentence. It says, vultures and maggots were to be expected, of course, but the intensity of the response awed the researchers.
No.
It says we were completely unprepared for what happened.
Why? Because normally one animal dies, 2 animal dies. You give a big old pile of dead flesh. Of course there are more.
It's just the word gets out.
It's real weird that like
you just say if you build it, they will come in regards to maggots and vultures.
I'm saying
that's what you're saying. This is the field of dreams for maggots and vultures.
Well, sure, but not just that. But it's like normally there is food scarcity, right? So of course you don't see a huge concentration of maggots sustained over time normally because there isn't enough food to sustain that. Of course, if you have 6,000 pounds of food, You have a lot of animals and insects hanging out the whole time, and you have more than usual because it's easy food deposited into an environment that they don't have to hunt for or look for. Of course they come there and stay there. This is a terrible study. They are covering something up.
You're impugning their integrity, but listen to what they had to deal with. So,
bunch of people asking questions about their dumb study.
They had to go every day. Daily, they had to wade through several inches of writhing maggot swarms to change out the bug traps that they put in. None of that sounds like a pleasant experience. And then they talked to, this is Heather Jordan of Mississippi State. She said, collecting microbial data during active decomposition was like playing Twister. You have to not fall, try not to step on the pigs, try not to step on that adipocier. Have you heard of that word before? It's corpse wax.
Yeah.
It's the decomposing.
Yeah, it's from the fat, the adipose.
The fucking fat turning into a molten fucking ooze.
I'm not saying it's pleasant. I'm saying it's a lot to go through to cover something up that you don't want to talk about. Like whatever they did must have been very horrible, where they felt like they had to go through this whole rigmarole to not get caught for it. Now, let me ask you this,
the biological response was so extreme that they had to abandon some of their sampling methods.
What a shame. Jeff, can I ask you something? Maybe I'm missing something here. Is the goal of this study to find creatures within this ecosystem that they potentially didn't know were there? Were they using this much food to draw out creatures or test population density? Am I missing what they're going for?
Well, it said they wanted to find out what happens in a situation like this, how nature reclaims that land, and the exact step-by-step process of what creatures are attracted to it, what the process is, what it does to their population.
Because when you get into the specifics of like, well, what creatures are here, I think that's kind of interesting. Like, can we draw out things we didn't know were in this environment? Mm-hmm. But like when you're like, what effect does adding 6,000 pounds of food do to animals? It's like they come eat it and they're healthy.
But they didn't expect. I mean, these are
and
guys,
a lot of them come.
They didn't expect it to be this fast and this intense. They said the actual traps.
It just sounds like they did a dumb thing and they were surprised by how dumb their thing was.
The traps and the cameras they put in were displaced and moved down a stream of maggots.
This is like a kid who throws a match into
maggot streams, Anthony!
This is like a kid who throws a match into a pile of leaves and goes, whoa, that went up fast. You know what I mean? It's like, no shit, kid.
Yeah.
Oh man, fire happened. That didn't really happen. Yeah.
But if you did 6,000 pounds of fire,
now you got
more
something.
Interesting.
What do they find? What are the conclusions of this dumb thing?
More different kinds of insects came than they expected.
Okay.
A small kind of lizard that they couldn't identify was there.
Okay.
Bald-faced hornets. He said, you'd see
dogs and cats
living together. Mass hysteria. He said you'd see hornets dart off, grab a fly, then land on the bird netting and sit there and eat it. That was one of the coolest things we saw. Direct quote.
These are literally just like a bunch of fucking teens that were just like, let's do some weird fucking shit.
Then, after the maggots abandoned the carcasses because they'd eaten all the flesh off the carcasses and they buried themselves in the dirt to pupate, they said herds of armadillos shuffled into the area and tore up the ground to eat the maggots. Circle of life. And that turned the soil into a weird, disturbed state that they said was weird to walk on. The texture had changed so much.
It was so weird. They dug up the soil, and so the soil was dug up. Fuck these guys.
They said they think this land will never go back to normal, but they're going to...
They high-fived and said, yeah, we fucked shit up, and then drove off.
They said they're going to keep studying this for the rest of their careers. It's going to be something that is going to be ongoing for the rest of their careers.
Great. Good for them. Good for them. I'm so happy.
You don't think this is interesting?
I mean, dude, I'm telling you, this is interesting in the sense of like, let's go fuck shit up and see how fucked up shit gets. Yeah. Like, sure, of course it was cool. Of course, a bunch of cool stuff happened, but like all of that stuff is, I mean, it's so weird when there were a lot of maggots. When there were more maggots, more armadillos came to eat maggots because armadillos eat maggots. Like,
well, but okay, so here's their ultimate result.
Yeah, give me the thing.
He said,
tie this together. Let's see what it's about.
He said their ultimate conclusion was, if you think of the pig, a feral pig in this case is an invasive species to this area, right? They brought it in.
Okay.
And you can imagine people in certain areas wanting to get rid of a feral pig infestation, for example.
Sure. So they kill a bunch of pigs, throw 6,000 pounds of them into their truck, and then drive them to the next county.
Well, where
no one will ever expect. Which is what happened here.
What they observed.
Which is what these people did.
These are monsters.
This is an I know what you did last summer situation, but with pig murder.
I know what you did in the forest last summer with those pig carcasses.
Kids, ask your parents.
They observed that a whole bunch of new invasive species were brought in. So their conclusion was it highlights the environmental impact of culling feral pigs in this case. So the pigs are an invasive species themselves and do considerable damage. But the paradox, Timberland says, the scientist, is killing them on a large scale.
Did Magoo have anything to say?
Promote
Missy Elliott? Justin Timberlake?
He said, oh, never mind. May actually promote the spread of other invasive species. So we fucked this shit up, but shit gets fucked up in different ways.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
This entire study could have been avoided with one phone call to another entomologist in Hawaii or Australia.
Well, they're all at luau's eating pig.
Hey, do you think they call up Hawaii? They're like, hey, did you know with an invasive species? And like the guy in Hawaii is just like rubbing his eyes. He's like, yeah, I know, Mississippi. I know. Great science. Great science.
Telling you, I thought this was fascinating.
Listen, if you
just imagine wading
stop
through
trying
a river
to sell
of
this.
maggots.
Stop trying to sell this because this thing is going long and there's nothing. They did nothing. Stop trying to sell it.
Through a river of maggots.
If they're just people who wanted to fuck shit up, if some people just want to watch the world burn, good for them.
I want to watch the world writhe.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know on Twitter if I'm wrong. Don't at me. Don't at me to tell me I'm wrong.
No, Adam.
But at me and
bunch.
Let me know why this is important if you think this is important.
Fascinating science.
I'm at A Carboni.
I'm at Jeff Canada. Don't send us your dead pigs.
And you can hashtag that not a dead pig. Because you're not supposed to send us dead pigs.
Send us
Jeff
dead
just
pigs.
said it.
Please. We've had enough. And that includes bacon.